Firefighters are trained to show up to calls, assess the situation, and quickly help those in trouble, all while putting aside any feelings that they have about what they're seeing or experiencing.
And not just fires, right? It's suicides, child abuse cases, shootings, overdoses, fatal car crashes, and more. And long after the emergency itself is over, it's occasionally the firefighters themselves who actually need a little bit of rescuing. Our Henny Ashivi spent months following some firefighters in Portland as they took emergency calls and is here now to show us how the department is helping take care of their own mental health. Hey, Hannah.
Lee and Sharon, Portland's fire department answers about 19,000 emergency calls every year, the highest volume in the state. Mental health has become such a high priority for the department. It's not only preparing new recruits before they even hit the streets, it's also helping seasoned firefighters deal with what they see on a daily basis. Firefighters like Nick Jewett, who grew up right in front of a fire station.
I just remember seeing those guys go out and the trucks and the lights, and I was so excited. And we had one of my teachers, her son was on the volunteer department there, and she knew I was really excited, so she hooked me up with him during a parade, and I got to ride in a fire truck, and it was just great. And funny story, I now work with him.
It's a camaraderie like no other, working 24-hour shifts together. They call each other brothers and sisters.
I like the EMS side a lot. You really get some instant satisfaction, like you're truly helping somebody right then, and you can see that things you did made a difference in improving their day.
It's the main reason first responders like Nick get into this field, to help others on their worst days.
But we can't help people if we don't come to work. We can't help people if our mind's not right. Right there. And then this was all my class. And so some of us are still here.
Keith Gautreau says ever since he was promoted to Portland's fire chief 6 years ago,
I'll have the captain down there to meet them.
He knew exactly what his focus was going to be.
In the past, we've relied on focusing on the physical things. Okay, let's provide new fire trucks. Let's provide gear, PPE, fire stations, right? We've always focused on the physical things. But now what we know is traumatic stress disorder is a real thing.
We didn't talk about our mental health around the table. It was kind of, you knew it was there. You knew guys had hard times, but you kind of kept quiet about it. You gave them a lot of space.
But now we know that stress from those hard times doesn't really go away. And if not dealt with, it can add up over the years until, without warning, it can spill over into a firefighter's life.
To not get into too much detail, but I had a car crash in the neighborhood that I lived in. The child I transported was my son's age. He rode in the school bus with her. It wasn't so much the call, being there and working it. Like, I'm a professional, there's certain things we do it. It was the coming home, seeing my own children, seeing my wife, kind of brought everything back.
Nick says he was losing sleep, had panic attacks, and was being overly aggressive to others.
Very challenging at times.
And he didn't know what to do.
And I wasn't able to truly engage in what I was doing, which then alarmed me that this isn't safe. I'm not being safe to myself, to the guys I'm working with, because I'm disassociated with everything that's going on. My body's telling me that you've overloaded yourself. And that's when I decided to get help.
That help came when Nick ended up in the emergency room. After 6 months of not getting the right help, he heard about the Center of Excellence in Maryland, an inpatient mental health facility just for firefighters.
With encouragement from our family, I went. What a great place. I found a place where I met people who were a lot like me.
Dr. Abby Morris is the medical director of the center. She says firefighters typically spend a month there.
They want to feel better and they want to go back to work because to be a firefighter or dispatcher or EMT or paramedic is the world to them. That's what they know. That's who they are. That's what they want. That's their identity. And that's what brings them so much pleasure, is serving their community.
Chief Gautreau has sent several of his own firefighters to the center.
And it can be up to a month, 3 months, 6 months of people being out. We've had people out for over a year.
It's a very tough decision for a firefighter to make. After all, no one wants to be considered the weak one of the group. A line of thinking that Morris says has to change.
You can't help anybody else if you're not well. And that concept is so hard for them that they feel that if they're not well, that they must have failed somehow.
And you'd hear things like, this is the job, you knew what you signed up for, deal with it. And that's certainly changing. I think it's changing because guys are talking about it.
Stay with us. Coming up in our last half hour at 6:30, I'll explain how that's changing. It's a move the department took 2 years ago that has made a significant difference for its firefighters.
All right, Todd, thank you. We'll start here. Firefighters often show up in crucial and critical moments, and aside from fires, they help out a lot with 911 calls, crashes, overdoses, and all kinds of medical emergencies.
And all of that can take a significant toll on their mental health. In our last hour, Arhani Yashivi told us about how Portland's fire department is improving how it helps firefighters struggling with mental health problems, including PTSD, substance abuse, and suicidal thoughts.
Yeah, Hannah's here now again to talk about what the department has implemented now to help its very own people. Such a huge topic. Hey, Hannah.
Good morning, Lee and Sharon. More than 10 first responders just in the city of Portland have gone out of state to specialized centers for help dealing with mental health. So the chief found ways to help his firefighters closer to home. Their union and city officials approved the creation of a new full-time mental health liaison for its 220 firefighters to use. That and other resources have seen a lot of success these past few years regarding morale and retainment.
We've decided to move forward, and we've hired a mental health coordinator, and that's Oliver. And he comes to us with experience. He's a licensed professional, and he is solely dedicated just to the firefighters in Portland, and that's his only job.
Where we work on things like anxiety, depression, post-traumatic stress, substance use disorder, things like that.
Oliver Burdine was hired 2 years ago, and his workload has only increased as more firefighters are recognizing that it's okay to be open to counseling.
Several people have been coming sort of proactively, which is an approach we're trying to take, where people aren't waiting until they're having their worst day ever. They're coming kind of like, I'm not sure if I really need to be here, but I just wanted to kind of like talk and make sure that I'm doing okay. And that's really kind of what we're trying to push, is like, let's not wait until it's a problem. Let's try to keep you sort of as healthy and well as we can.
In collaboration with the union, the department has spent more than $300,000 on mental health services in the last 2 years. It may sound like a lot, but it's just 1% of the department's annual budget.
This is something else that we're providing for them as a resource so that they can get through their long career. 25 years is a long time to see these types of emergencies.
You can't train too much for a job that can kill you, true? But if more guys are killing themselves than getting killed, are we really training in the right places?
And it's not only veteran firefighters being helped.
It can consume you, so don't let it.
The department has also implemented mental health and resiliency training for new firefighters.
It's fixable at any point in time, okay? 30 years later, it's fixable. I'm standing here teaching this. Okay.
Taught by Deputy Chief Kevin McGuire, who also went to the Center of Excellence in Maryland himself.
It doesn't have this stigma to it like you're weak or that you're failing just because something's bothering you. And I really hope that's what we instill in these new guys, so that as this continues on, that's just the new way we do things.
A new way, says Chief Gautreau, that's vital because the department can't afford to lose more good men and women.
But if we don't take care of them, we might as well be out of business.
I know for me, admitting that I needed help meant, I feared that I wouldn't be able to continue this job. I feared that I would lose part of my identity.
Nick Jewett is back full-time with the department and was even promoted to lieutenant. He's now mentoring others who are struggling and leading by example by continuing to get help from Oliver.
And I think that's been some of the things I want to do, is to help those who need, someone to talk to. And I've gotten feedback from guys who've gone to Oliver. I think they're feeling that door's open, at least with me, that they can say, hey, what do you think about this? I'm going to see Oliver. He wants to try this with me.
There really needs to be a sense of trust built for the first responders to come to a position like this, and so that's why it's slowly building.
And he's really the last piece of this comprehensive program that we've put together. We're like one of a handful of fire departments in the country that has their own dedicated mental health person. In my heart, I know we're doing the right thing. I know we are. So I'm just so proud that we're kind of leading the charge here.
For Nick, getting the counseling he needed has helped him not only deal with the day-to-day stress of being a firefighter, it has given back to him the same excitement for the job he had when he was a kid.
I love this job. I mean, there's something about it that I truly love doing. Like, I do like helping people. I do like going medical calls. I love going to, a fire and making a stop before it ruins a home. And I'm passionate about it. And I think I came to the realization that it's about building resiliency. It's about having the right coping mechanisms.
According to the Firefighter Behavioral Health Alliance, more firefighters die from suicide each year than in the line of duty. So another big goal is, of course, to avoid suicidal ideation. Chief Gautreau says he's had other fire chiefs in Maine showing interest in mimicking their program. He says the fact that those conversations have started is a huge step in the right direction, and that it all comes down to money and support. Hannah Yashivi, News Center, Maine.